Hello, you modeler people out there. I mean, that's one kind of person that watches this video. Today we're talking about an FRFR speaker. What is an FRFR speaker? I asked myself that for the longest time. It stands for full range flat response, which technically means it's a frickin' PA speaker, and that's what they are. They're just marketed to you guitar players so that you buy them, because you wouldn't buy a monitor, you wouldn't buy a 112 PA speaker. No, you buy the FRFR speaker because that's what you buy when you have a modeler. Are they really any different than any normal PA speaker? No, they're flat response. No, I don't think they are. So what's the deal? Usually they look like a guitar cab, and that's why you would like them a little bit more than the standard PA speaker. In the case of the Harley Benton one, they literally look like a PA speaker, which is fine. This thing can be stood up. It has legs right here. It has a hole at the bottom, which means it can be up on a stand. So yeah, you can use this like a normal PA speaker. Totally fine. I love the handles. It's got a handle right here and one on the top. Super solid. And then it has the panel in the back. And we're going to go through the panel in a bit. Where's the difference between this and a normal PA speaker? Two differences. A, it says Harley Benton on the front, which means it's Thomann's guitar brand. So it's just targeted to you a little bit more than a normal PA speaker would be. And this has speaker simulations built in. 3 of them. Now, why in the world would you want that, is the big question. Don't you use this with a Helix, HX Stomp, Iridium, the Harley Benton DNAfx modeler, a Kemper, an Axe-Fx, anything that actually already has speaker simulation and IRs built in? Yeah. So why in the world would you want this to have speaker simulation? Well, the answer is you wouldn't when you use it with a modeler, because the ones in the modeler change with the preset and you have the sound that you want. So don't. In that case, you go to mode and you switch it to off. But when I heard that it has speaker simulations, like the Line 6 power cabs, which by the way I've had here, couldn't really do a video on it. I didn't enjoy them. I didn't think that, especially for the price, it made sense. This is plastic, but it's pretty damn solid. I'm pretty sure if you throw this around, it's not gonna break. You can use it as a monitor, meaning angled, top, bottom. It's a pretty well thought out product. And I thought, but why does it have built-in speaker simulations? Yeah, it's got input to inputs. It's got an output so you can actually go to front of house, because if you're using your XLR on your Helix, you go into this, you need to go to the front of house somehow, because that's just for your monitoring on stage. And then I thought, if it's got built-in speaker simulation, wouldn't it be cool if it had an attenuator built in so I can actually use it with my 100-watt amp at home or on stage, and then have different speakers if I wanted that? That would be cool. Obviously, for that, it would make sense for it to have MIDI and be able to switch between them, and also it would make sense for you to load IRs into it, but the thing is $219, so, you know, let's be reasonable. So I wanted to test it in addition to modelers with an attenuator. And there's the Harley Benton power attenuator. I've already reviewed this a couple years ago. Wasn't the biggest fan because in order for anything to come out of the lineouts, you have to have it at 2, which means it's not fully loading. And then this doesn't do anything. It doesn't matter where it's set. And they really haven't fixed it yet. But that's $79, I think. And together with this, you can take a tube amp into this, go line out into this, and then have whatever level you want. Of course, you could have whatever level you want with this, but then you can also have different speakers. Now, granted, only 3, but do they sound good? Good question. We'll find out. So we're going to go into the menu. And in the menu, you can pick speaker 1 or simulation 1, simulation 2, simulation 3, and off. Off is, of course, what you want if you're using IRs in your device. Then you go and there's an EQ, 3-band EQ, particularly voiced for guitars. And when you switch it to PA, it simply has low, high, and mids, which is fine. There is an LED switch, which changes the LED on the front. Apparently also with a limiter mode, and that can show you if it's overloading, I guess. Really not more to it. 2 XLR or 1/4-inch inputs, they're combo jacks. Switch at the bottom. Very simple. It's a nice, simple menu, and it always jumps back to volume after you don't touch it for a while. And then you can adjust the main level. The only negative in terms of build quality I could find on this €219 product was that encoder seems to be mounted directly on the PCB and not screwed into the chassis, which means it's got a long shaft coming out, and it wobbles a bit. So yeah, if you kick that, that's toast. It's really hidden, recessed in the back. It's that, you're not gonna kick that. How loud can it get? It can get loud. It's a 112, obviously with a tweeter. It's got 1200 watt Class D. More than you would ever need. You can get a cover for it, which is $21. And why wouldn't you? How do you review a speaker that you can't hear? You can't. You have to trust me and what I say. Sorry. But the best way to do it is get you into the room. So please get out your headphones, plug them into your iPad, iPhone, Android thing, computer, laptop, whatever, and listen to the next bit with headphones, because I recorded it with binaural mics, meaning they're literally fake ears that I put on the main cam in the room, and that actually puts you into the room. It's still not exactly like being there, but it's a closer thing we can do. So please do that. And here's me playing the Helix with this thing in the room. I have to say, I really like those sounds. If you asked me for $1,000 for a speaker like that, I'd be like, hell's nah. But for what they're asking for it, wait, what's today's price? $219. Yep, that's very, very fair. And you get your Helix loud. Pretty good sounds. Love the cleans. Love the heavy stuff. As soon as you have more stuff going on, as soon as you have effects going on and delays, it felt a bit muddled. It's getting the clarity is kind of lacking then. So the clearer it sounds, the better. But generally speaking, it's doing a good job. It's literally monitoring for you on stage. I mean, it's going to go DI to the front of house anyway. Then also the spread was very good. I was sitting right next to it, not in front of it, and it still sounded really good. So let's take a low-budget modeler into it. Harley Benton's own DNA, whatever it's called. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, there you go. Obviously, how good it sounds is highly dependent on what you're feeding it with. And now, the really good question. How do the built-in speaker models sound? And I'm going into this. I kind of had to crank this up a bit because otherwise there's nothing coming out of the output. I don't understand. But $79 for that, $219 for that, and you could actually have your amp, your real tube amp. In this case, I used a small box from Friedman, attenuated and speaker simulated inside the cab. So I'm going through all three different speaker simulations. Let's check that out. Now, I gotta say, I was very impressed with the built-in simulations. That actually sounded really pleasing, totally awesome. 2 points of critique there. Sim 1 and Sim 2 sound the same. Very, very close. Really no big time point in having both of them. And 3 was kind of probably more of a V30, a little bit harsher, a little bit more brightness. Definitely different. But then there's only the 3. Now, if I had 10, 15 in there, it would be easy to push it as a attenuator plus this can give you a variety of sounds at home. But if the variety of sounds is 3, whereas, well, 2 really, then that point becomes kind of moot. Just saying. But it's an option, and you can do it, and probably not in any way how people use these FRFR speakers. However, if they put simulations into there, then the companies have to kind of have a reason for those simulations to make sense. Obviously, you could go straight into it with a pedal board. I think if you're going to go DI with your pedal board, you're going to have a DI solution on there, either the More Radar or the Engel Cab Loader or the 2 Notes Cab M. There's many different ways to do this, and then you still don't need the built-in speaker simulations. But in the concept, in the combination that I showed you, they do make sense, and they actually do sound good. Bottom line, I think it sounds good. It's solid, knob wobbles a bit, but primarily, it's really not expensive. Yes, you can buy PA speakers for that money. Actually, you might want to look into the LD Systems ICOA. I personally use that with the Captor X as my monitoring solution in Studio B. It's not really an FRFR, but it's the same idea. However, it's a 112, and it's much bigger and much heavier. This has a good size. It's fairly light, has really good handles. I mean, it's just, as a tool, it works. So, I hope that told you a little bit about FRFR. Literally any flat speaker will do. If it's meant for guitar, it'll show in one thing, does it have built-in speaker simulations? And whether or not they matter to you, that's up to you. But I think Harley Benton, for the money, did a good job. Stands out on both sides a little bit up here. Okay then. Yeah, I'm being paid by Harley Benton for this. But you and I know that doesn't mean anything. I need to eat. And I'll put links below. If you use them, that also helps me, that supports the channel. Please do use those links. And support me on Instagram and Facebook would be appreciated. Thanks, Harley Benton, for always being friends. And thanks to you for watching this stuff. Oh, no. There's a thing we do at the end. Animals at the end.